Hey, good morning. Saturday morning. Oh, my little liberal buddy went and fell off his pedestal back here. I'll be right back. You can watch me here. My little my little my little socialist deceived companion. I've talked about it. Olaf. He sings this song, "Summer," and in summer, and in this song, if you watched it, he gets up in there and he there's a place there. He's piddling around in the sun and he runs up on this puddle and oops, he realizes, this don't look good. Olaf was a snowman. Yeah. But here we are. Going on Facebook, some of these posts that go on there and some of the things that these liberals and socialists, man, some of the garbage they're doing. They just, we're finding out there's no limits to these people as their conscience crushed against moral law. There's no limits to their actions, their treachery. It's pitiful, people. It's literally pitiful. Lie without end. His media is screaming, "Oh, Trump's parade is all this, it's all that." He was the one talking about the 4th of July and independence and freedom. They was talking about Trump. Listen, people, those people have proven Trump to be legitimate and them the friggin' pervert and a liar. They've proven it all the time he's been in office. They've proven it themselves. The only ones that lick their butts are the ones that are as corrupt as they are. But these posts and stuff on Facebook, you got what is it? Is it a Texas Democratic or California? Down there secretly sending her staff down into Mexico telling people how to come up and file for these asylum laws to get past customs and all this stuff. And the woman will be jailed. If justice is served, she will go to jail. If justice is served, her and her cohorts will go to jail. There's a lot of friggin' liberals and socialist people. If justice is actually served, they're going to jail. They're going to get their friggin' bubble busted and their head cracked. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. And if justice is actually served, a lot of them will be lined up and shot on international television for treason. These people have went way past and way beyond reasonability. It's unreal what these people are now. I mean, these people are the friggin', it's pitiful. All reality and the American people, they're seeing through this. They claimed, Trump's rally, his Independence Day, his 4th of July celebration was going to be a flunk out, that it wasn't going to be nothing. Pitiful numbers going to be there. Hey man, the place is maxed out. The mall is full. I mean, full and running over, man. You see pictures on the internet and stuff now. Yeah, of course you need a lot of Your liberal medias, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, West Virginia's Charleston Gazette, a lot of these places, they're not going to tell the truth, people. You're not going to hear it from them. They're part of the friggin' sewer. Don's swamp, well, it might be swamp to him. It's sewer to me. They're the lie. They are the lie. They are the lie. They're sewer to me. That's what their actions prove them out to me to be. They prove to be sewer. Sewage. They made themselves that. They made the choice. They chose to be that. That is not a judgment of condemnation from me. They chose those actions. I'm just judging the actions. They chose to be that. I reckon the ICE deportation is going to step back in. It was slowed down back last month, but I reckon President Trump's got the right to do it, and he's supposed to step it back up, bring it back in. So pour it on it, pour it on it, pour it on it. You know, people, if you have friends and family and these that are liberals and socialists and Democrats to the hilt, that they don't care what the hell ever else happens, they'll vote Democrat, you need to share some of my posts. I mean, I don't pull no punches. I try to just be straight and honest, and I have the reason for it. You need to share it. Those people, they need to be freaking woken up. And it's not just me. There's other people out there that's got good posts too. There's others. I read a newsletter from my brother from Rev Up, or Taking It to the World, Reverend Darrell Dane Davis, and you know, I read his letter, and it brings a note of guilt to me because of some of my posts, because I get pretty clear, I get pretty plain, you know, and sometimes I don't pull no punches. And you know, and his letter reminds me, John, you know, he didn't say John, but he's talking in his newsletter, because it goes out to a lot of people, but it goes out. I'd like to get it shared on Facebook and places to where people can see it and read it. He does an awesome job as a minister. But anyway, in his letter, he talks, he says, you know, we have to show the grace of God. We have to show the grace of God and the friendly face of Christ to people. That in you doing that, you know, that they will recognize. And, you know, I want to try to do that. I really do. But you have thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people out there. They have lost moral conscience. They will not listen to sound doctrine. They will not listen to sound, truthful, honest, upright, direct words. Moral conscience has slipped. After you get to a point, there's only one thing will wake these people. You're not going to break their heart with a harsh word. After the conscience has slipped, a harsh, honest, truthful word it's not going to break their heart. You're not going to hurt them. You know, and I want to show that face of grace to these people. These people have no regard for law. They have no regard for honesty. They have no regard for truth. They have no regard for decency. They've lost the ability. They have lost the ability to separate the right and the wrong. They've lost the ability to judge between good and bad, and they jumped headlong into this garbage, and they push it. They push it like a deviant would force himself on children, like a deviant would force themselves on the helpless. You got to realize what these people are, people. Isaiah 32, 5 through 8 talks about the liberal, what they do. The Bible says the liberal will do villainy. They will practice hypocrisy. Do you realize what that's saying? Do you understand what that is saying? The liberal thinker will do things that are unnatural. They will do things unimaginable. The decent and the honorable, they shun, they back off with stuff like that. They don't want nothing to do with it. But the liberal thinker will commit it. They will do it. As their conscience slips, they will commit themselves unto that shame and that crime against others. The Bible says they do it against the innocent. They do it against the upright and the honest. What we call them the righteous. And they do it against the helpless. I've told you, liberalism is a lie. It's a friggin' excuse for atrocities committed against other people. That's what it is. It's atrocities committed against other people with no shame or remorse. That's what liberalism does. That's what it does. It excuses the actions, the lies, the treachery, the plotting and scheming. It makes an excuse for it. The Bible says it's sin against God. That's the reason they commit it without reproach, without shame, because they're excused. It's excused. They can lie, cheat, and steal, and kill, and rape, and all this garbage. They're excused. We got another a mayor. See, where was he? I've got it on Facebook. I may add it to this post. You know, I mean, some of you won't, you know, you just, God. He admits to being part of an elitist pedophile ring. Duh. This stuff was coming out, people, a few years ago. When Obama was in there, there was names popping up. Elitist pedophile ring. They know that Bill Clinton got on some billionaire's yacht and stuff, and he'd run around and they would have youngsters for party pets. Yeah. Yeah. Your elitist, socialist, democratic perverts, they back it, they're supporting it, they're trying to hide it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got a mayor that's part of one of that ring. There's an elitist pedophile ring. Admitted his guilt to raping a youngster. Well, there you go. You got it. And people, the trash is coming up. It's popping up every time I turn. It's popping up like water boiling. But you see, these liberals and socialists, they're not going to tell all this. If they do, it's going to be, if you see it on CNN, it'd probably be a 10, 15 second clip and zip right off to something else. They think it just got a hint, just a little pinch, a suspicion, no facts about Donald Trump, and it's on the news for the next 3.5 months. God, people, jeez. Right now, as it stands, the Democratic Party needs to be piled up and burned. They are an atrocity unto mankind. They are an atrocity to mankind. Sounds hard. I know it sounds harsh. People, you either put the pervert down or he's going to put the hurt on you. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. You know, they cry about Trump's tanks coming into Washington, D.C. Hey, Trump he's showing, hey, we're bigger, we're better than we've ever been, and we're getting stronger. Trump believes in peace through strength. Listen, look at your police. How do the police get control of the streets? They've got to have, they have to have the right to be stronger. They have to have the strength to overcome that which is committed against other people wrongfully. They have to be stronger than the criminal. That's the reason you have the police. That's the reason you're supposed to have courts that uphold justice and not opinions like many of these judges and these perverts, these politicians are doing. They're supposed to commit themselves to justice. Perverts don't commit themselves to justice. They don't do it. Liberals and socialists don't do it. How many of these friggin' judges now are they're just up and they're upholding god-awful stuff? They need to be lined up and shot. They're perverts. They're a curse. They're a blight, a plague on society. They're a plague on society. President Trump celebrates the 4th, man. Flags flying around him. Speaking of our forefathers and their exceptionalism and the things that they brought to life in this nation, that hope and truth and honor would serve justice and serve the people with freedom and liberty. And he's building up the American platform that we were actually built upon. He's building it up, man. Praising American exceptionalism amongst a world that is willing to lie, steal, and kill. And these friggin' liberals and socialists. I watched Fox News, Fox News this morning, and I forget the man's name. He's asking these college students, these snots, basically ignorant snots, classroom taught snots. That's what they are. Classroom taught snots. He's asked them, "Are you proud of America?" "No, not as much as I used to be." God, man, I'll tell you what. Socialism, liberalism, the lie and the rot, the stench and the deception of liberalism and socialism, man, has slapped these people. They can add 2 and 2, but don't know to keep their butt wiped. God. It's pitiful, man. It really is. It's literally pitiful. It's the rot, the friggin' rot that's coming off some of these people's lips. It's literally pitiful. Literally pitiful. And it's taught right in the classroom. Hitler had to do the same friggin' thing to his own people. You realize that? Somewhere Hitler had to sow sewage into the German people's minds to get them to believe, oh, they were the big deal. The Jews were nothing. They need to be extinct. Everything that disbelieves with us or won't walk with us needs to be extinct. Everything is out there. He sowed shit into people's minds. He polluted their conscience and their thinking. He crusted their conscience to where they would commit his atrocities at his word. That's what he done. Look at some of America's colleges and universities. Those people don't even know the difference between right and wrong. They just friggin' got their head up some friggin' socialist butt. If you knew how friggin' pitiful you are. If you knew how friggin' pitiful you are. But because you're ignorant, your conscience has been crusted, it no longer works properly. Because you have been led and fed lies and rot and poop, you don't understand who you are. You don't understand the actual degradation that is laid out around you, that's building up walls around your life that truth and honor cannot reach you. If you knew how pitiful you are. You know, the Bible speaks, when they get to that point, nothing but the mercies of God can reach them. Nothing but God pricking their heart by His Spirit can bring them out of that hellhole. It's a fact. It's a fact. But I've got several posts I've put on or shares for those of you that look at this copy and paste and you think, oh, that's God, he's plumb full of copy and paste. Hey, listen, I'm a little old four-eyed ignorant hillbilly. I don't have the means and the sources. I don't have the funds. I don't have the stuff to go out here and pay 7,500 people to pour news into me. I depend on Fox News and conservative thinkers, honorable, decent conservative thinkers. I depend on them to give me information. I've got several sources that come from them. And listen, whether you want to admit it or not, if you want to compare the odds or the difference between conservative and liberal, conservative is going to give you 99.9% truth. Liberal is going to give you basically 75% lie. That's just the way it is, people. That's the difference between the two. Conservative means to be respectful, to be mindful of boundaries that push you past limits of moral and godly outlines, that you will not reach out past those. Liberal means you give someone an excuse. You give them a hall pass even though they don't deserve one. That's what it means. Liberal means you give them a hall pass even though they don't deserve one. They have no legitimate reason to have one. That's what liberal is. That's what liberal is, people. That's what it means. Liberal is lie. Is a lie. It's just a friggin' lie. That's all it is. It's a lie. But if you've been given legitimacy, you know, I'm sitting on my side porch. It's been a few years ago. And I'm just enjoying my breakfast, man. We got this side porch out there that's screened in to help keep, 99% of the bugs off of us. And sitting out there just enjoying my breakfast in the cool morning air. And I don't remember, there might have been a little light breeze blowing through and but anyway, I'm enjoying my breakfast. Wasn't even thinking about this stuff. And the Lord spoke one word to me. Legitimacy. You don't think God can't give you an eye opener, son? Oh yeah. Legitimacy. He had showed me Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. He spoke that word to me. He showed me that Isaiah probably 4 or 5 years earlier. He spoke the word legitimacy to me. And he put the cap on Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. John, this is the reason things are getting the way they are. These people have been given excuse to their lies, their cheating, their fraud, their raping, their murders. They've been given excuse for their actions, and their conscience does not bother them. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing when he put the cap on that with the word legitimacy. He said, these people have been given an excuse. They have been given legitimacy even though they don't deserve it. They have been given legitimacy. Yeah. And now you look what's going on. The Democrat, listen people, let me tell you something. I'm going to be straight with you. I told you I don't pull no punches. Be straight with you. The liberal, socialist, Democrat Party of today is tomorrow's shithole. It's pitiful. It's literally pitiful, the things that are taking place. It's pitiful. Disgraceful. Abhorrent. Atrocious. A cesspool of contamination, of moral disease. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. And it's accepted. It has been given legitimacy. These people have been given legitimacy to their shame. There's been given legitimacy to their cheating, their lying, their scheming and plotting. You know, Old Testament Bible, David said, the wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul. The pervert is over there, standing in the shadows, waiting for a chance to pounce on the innocent. It's not supposed to be that way, people. Do you know why heaven is going to be heaven? Do you have any friggin' idea why heaven is going to be heaven? Any concept at all why heaven will be heaven? Heaven will be heaven because the liar, the cheat, the thief, the thug, the abuser, the rapist, the truce breaker, the indecent, the murderer, they will be cut off. They will not enter in. They will not enter in. Heaven will be heaven because justice will be real. The hopes of people will be alive. They will be brought to the front. The Lamb of God, through His love, will bring their hopes to life. The contaminated, the crusted will not enter. That's the reason heaven will be heaven. Justice will be real. The Bible says he is the one righteous judge. Justice will be real. The threat of ever being done wrong will be eliminated. The liberal, socialist, Democrat Party, or anybody that thinks like them of today will be tomorrow's shithole. I don't like using the word. I know it's offensive to others. It's offensive to me. It's offensive to me. But you will not listen to anything else. These friggin' college taught snobs, man, I'll tell you what, it just, I think about them and I get upset, I get feeling ill, but I look at them and I think of these young people, and I think, God, this is literally pitiful. It's pitiful that they could be so abhorrent in their thinking that they could not recognize the atrocities wrapped around the world or trying to come to life in America through the garbage of liberal thinking, of godless, immoral thinking, through Islamic thinking, through socialist thinking, through all these friggin' atrocities. Karl Marx, he said if we can pee into their minds enough, we can own them. You think of it. A friggin' drunk out of the 1800s said if we can pee into the minds of Americans enough, we can own them. Duh. Look at these college students. Tomorrow's supposedly intelligent. If we can pee into their minds enough, we can own them. There was a socialist run for office in the early 1900s or somewhere back through there in America. He ran for several times. I forget his name. But he never did get in office because people recognized him as a socialist. And he never did get in office. But he finally came to the thinking. He said, I don't have to be in office. He said Americans will become socialist through liberal thinking. Liberal thinking will actually bring to the front godless, immoral thinking will actually bring their policies of socialism or communism to life within them. They will be taken within their own mind, within their own heart. They will lose their freedoms and liberties. They will give themselves to us willfully because it'll be given to them in their minds. They'll give up their thinking. They'll give up their honor. We will have our way with them through liberal thinking. Our policies will be taught to them. You think about that. You think about that, man. I'll tell you what. You know, they were perverts, but so help me, they're a hell of a lot smarter than the people we got today. They sure are. Or were. The lies of these people have been uncovered. But some of you refuse to accept the thought that the ones you've been listening to have actually deceived you. You refuse to accept it because you have become crusted. You have hardened yourself against truth. You have hardened yourself against honor. You have hardened yourself against decency. You have hardened yourself against a working conscience. Saturday, July the 6th, Southern West Virginia. Twist the World News, old John Davis, four-eyed ignorant hillbilly doesn't know a thing except God. Except God tells it or shows it or explains it. I give myself no credit. Just like all others, nobody needs grace any more than I do. And in many, many, many cases, I need it more. I need it more. But thanks be to God, John has hope. I hope you come through this 4th of July with a new perspective and say, man, I am blessed. I am blessed. I live in America. America, this nation, has given more and done more for the world than probably all others combined. Listen, America has given more than we've received. When it comes to material, we have given more than we've come to receive. I mean, we're blessed. Don't get me wrong. America is a blessed nation. Trillions upon trillions of dollars have been come from around the world to America's shores because God blessed us. God purposed, He purposed this nation at this time. He purposed this nation at this time. For this time. What, Columbus come to America in 1492 or, back there in that time. But he purposed Columbus to come to the new shore. He purposed people longing for a true Christianity to come to America and start another world. He purposed America to fight off the false Christianity of the Old English Church and Old English dominion and rule. He purposed for George Washington to set his own slaves free, for them to be free in the New World. He purposed the Constitution. He purposed Abraham Lincoln to go to war to get the bowed black nigger back out of a cotton field and bring him over and say, now you go out there now, it's by choice. But as of right now, you're no longer a nigger, you're a man, it's up to you. A lot of blacks went back and they more or less sharecropped that they could go out there, and if they worked, they the owner of the land would get his portion, or his, he'd still make wealth, but the black man, the ones that chose to, they could sharecrop, and they could also make extra from their work. But Abraham Lincoln purposed for the black niggerback to no longer be that niggerback. He purposed for him to be a black man, to come to life, to vote, to have a freedom and liberty. He was purposed for that. They were purposed for that. This nation was purposed by God at this time in creation. We were purposed to be a leader. We were purposed to show a light of hope. We were purposed. People, we are not here by just by the blow of the wind. We were not here because we were threw up in the winds of time and just, no, we were purposed. This nation was purposed. But you look at these people that no longer believe in God. You look at these people that no longer believe in decency and honor and truth and respect and regard and morality and stuff worth keeping alive. You look at them. Every damnable thing you can imagine is taking place in their minds. Every damnable thing. People, they come out against the very laws, against the very essence that gives them a life, that they can choose a job, that they can work a job, they can buy a home or a car, whatever. They can progress, they can do better. By choice, they can do better. These people are coming out against your very ability to make up your own mind. These liberal and socialist people, that you may not realize it, but if you don't get them stopped, tomorrow they're going to be putting their foot on your throat. They'll be putting their friggin' immoral foot on your throat. And they'll look you dead in the eye and say, you satisfy me, you friggin' piece of turd, or I'll get rid of you. That's what they'll do to you. Look what's going on around the world with Christians. People, they're murdering Christians all over the world. Murdering Christians all over the world. Why? Why? Christians are actually the most honest, decent, respectful people in the world. Because Christ's essence lives with them. They've been born again, the Spirit of God in their life. They're the most decent person you're going to have around you. Why are they being attacked? Because the Christian will not condone the rot that has been made legitimate. The legitimacy of the rot of their mind, the legitimacy of the rot of these people's minds is not condoned in Christianity. People are turning their backs against God. They're turning away from God. And their minds are slipping. Little by little, their minds are being moved into the darkness. Just as the Germans were. Their minds were contaminated, their conscience had been crushed, and all of a sudden they start moving in the darkness of a lying, filthy ignorance that would bring them to the point that they would murder 6 million Jews. Bring them to the point they would murder anything that come up in front of them and say, I don't agree with that. So they'd murder them. The same thing, people, is happening to hearts and minds in America today. The same friggin' thing is happening. In the summer, they fall for a lie. They fall for a lie. And just like in the movie of the old Hilljack, he says, I'm going to tell him. And the old pretty-eyed princess or whatever she is says, you better not. The same thing's happening today, people. You have millions of Americans that are willing to sing the song with Olaf. In summer. Hopefully the 4th means something bigger and better to some of you. Hopefully you have come to realize and to understand that we are the exceptional. This nation is the exception. We are the exception. We are the exceptional. We were purposed. We were purposed by God